So thank you guys for taking time out of your day to come and listen. Gold Retreat was positively amazing, and they treated us really, really well. And maybe if you guys just want to go ahead and everybody mute your mic just in case there's a little background noise and stuff. It's just people hearing me right now, and then we can open it up later if you've got any questions. So, of course, by now you're in the business and you already know that to get to goals, you need to have at least $35,000 worth of organizational group volume and 3 legs of 6,000 in your organization to qualify. And you have to maintain that for 3 months consecutively in order to qualify to go on their rank recognition trips. So I'll just tell you that we got an email before inviting everybody to put their name into the hat for Melissa Harvest. And I didn't really have any interest to do that as of yet, but Courtney did, and Courtney was able to participate in Melissa Harvest. Can you say a little bit about that, Courtney?
About the Melissa Harvest? Can you hear me at all?
Yeah,
okay.
You're good.
All right. Well, sorry, I just had the headphones in there, so it was a little bit weird. So anyways, I was one of the 15 people who were chosen for the, there it is, Jeanette's holding it up, the beautiful bottle of Melissa. And I had no idea what to really expect when I went on this trip. I was a little bit nervous. I don't like traveling alone. So I was completely on my own going into this situation to the farm. I was in cabins with 4 other people, and honestly, I have made amazing connections with those women that we were on the trip with. We participated hard each day. We were out there with, little hoes, and we were actually hand weeding acres and acres and acres of property. It was 40 degrees out, and we were in long sleeves and, long pants, which was, really, really hot and sweaty and gross. But, we all came together and did it for the oils. And I think harvest was, are you laughing at me, Jeanette? You're muted.
I'm looking at Nicole Patras with her M&M bag.
Anyways, I love the M&Ms. Yeah, so it was really an awesome experience to see everything from being able to plant in the ground to being part of the harvesting. So driving, I didn't get to drive the tractor, which I was a little bit disappointed about. They wouldn't let me do that. But we got to be in the back of the box where all the Melissa floats right onto you. So it's being shooted out of the combine and you're being covered in it. There's grasshoppers, so, spiders, daddy long legs, everything. And yeah, it was pretty intense and hard work. And I don't know, we all came together to do it. And I think we did about 4 acres of harvest, and we got 1 quart of Melissa oil. So when that whole farm is about 200 acres, and you think that 4 acres made 1 quart, so just like the little mason jar full of essential oil. And it was a lot of hard work. A lot of work went into hoeing all the thistle out of there, because the thistle does affect the essential oil. And then getting it out, stressing it on the deck, flipping it over, everything was really time consuming. It probably took us all day to make that 1 quart. So when you think, $200 for a bottle of 5 mil Melissa, super expensive, but it's super hard to get. So I don't know, it was really amazing to be a part of that.
And the one thing that Courtney has said to me too is that they all hand weed. Like those acres and acres and acres are hand weeded by people. So just the labor that goes into that is outstanding.
Yeah, it was pretty intense, and to see all the workers out there just coming together for the one cause of that Melissa oil. It was really neat to be a part of that, and getting to, get into the distiller and stomp down that Melissa and really be a whole part of that. I have a little bit of goosebumps right now because it was pretty amazing to be a part of that and know that the Melissa that we made is going to affect, tons and tons of people.
Mm-hmm. I think that it's really easy for us to talk about how like the seed to seal process, and that's what makes us unique, and we regurgitate it, but to actually experience the seed to seal process and see the distillery and all of that, it really just kind of seals the deal. So I encourage you guys that when you have that opportunity to definitely take it, if that tickles your fancy for sure. And it's not for everyone because it is a lot of hard work, but it's definitely a unique opportunity. So if that comes your way, then definitely, take that opportunity. So what we did when we got there, we flew in on Tuesday, and then that night they had an entire formal dinner set up for us. So it was great food, great connections, and lots of giveaways and things like that. And then we had a full day on Wednesday of training. And we got to hear a few people talk, and there was some really valuable things in there that I just want to bring to your attention. This was, of course, mostly American, although there were people there from Finland and Australia and overseas. This was really kind of, more geared to the United States because that's who most people were there. But we heard Greg DeLong speak. And I actually can't remember where Greg DeLong fits in the Young Living world, but he got up and he spoke, and he just talked about the simplicity of love it, share it, repeat. And in the United States, they're really talking about just that style, love it, share it, repeat. It's that simple. You're one person, you love it, you share it, and repeat the process. So it doesn't have to be some big fandangled, jazz hands type thing. It's just that simple. Love it, share it, repeat. And of course, it requires the passion. And tools are coming. That's what we're told. Tools are coming. Tools are coming. Eddie Silcock got up and spoke, and he talked about the international market. A phenomenal speaker. I cannot say enough good about Eddie Silcock. We are very, very fortunate to have him on board. And he is a doer. He's a mover and shaker. And when he says that these things are coming down the pipe, I really, really do believe him. And he's just a people guy. He's a relationship guy, and he's an expert at it. So I think that he's one to really pay attention to. And he talked about something that we've already talked about before, which is, do you want to be the lighthouse or do you want to be the weather vane? And it just talks about how that lighthouse has a sturdy foundation that stays the course, stays in one spot, and is that beacon of light for everybody. A weather vane changes course all the time, whatever the wind directions go. And ultimately, we want to be that lighthouse. We want to just be that beacon for everybody to see that this is what we're doing and we're leading from the front. He talked, he was mostly motivational. He talked a little bit about the corporate international world. One thing that I thought was really interesting is he encouraged us not to share. Do not share in Russia, India, South Korea, or China. Those 4 places will be extremely difficult to get into because of their markets. Everywhere else is reasonable. We should be moving forward, but those places, Russia, India, South Korea, and China, are just so difficult with their government that it is just red flagged, stay away. So I thought that was interesting that he would even talk about that. The rest of the world's open for us, but those places we should be wary of. So he was good. Now we'll move into Lindsay Elmore. Lindsay Elmore is our compliance lady. And if you were at Super Saturday in March in Calgary, she spoke, and she's the pharmacist. She's got a few articles up on youngliving.com/blog, and she is incredibly smart. She's from, I want to say, Alabama, and she used to be a pharmacist, and she decided that it was too much for her to be coaching, trying to get these people off of medications when all they wanted to do was be on medications. And she felt that that wasn't where she wanted to be at all. So she got her dream job, and she talked about her story, and it was really great. She's a straight shooter. She's as blunt as they come. She doesn't sugarcoat anything. And her job is compliance. But the one thing that she did talk about is we want to live above the line. We don't want to be a sickness company. We want to be a wellness company. So always have that in the forefront of your brain. And the one thing that I thought was good is she said, just like anybody else, she had to learn the compliancy, no different than any of us. So instead of, freaking out and being like, well, what can I say? We have resources. We know what we can say. And if we're coming at it from a positive angle of living above the line, choosing positive speech, and using the resources that Young Living gave us. So I'm going to try here to share my screen with you. Can you see my screen? Yvonne, can you nod if you can see my screen? Okay.
Yep.
So I'm on my virtual office here, I'm logged in as normal, and then I'm gonna come down to member resources. And in the member resources, scroll down, and you'll see here are just the quick links. But if you come into Sharing Young Living the Right Way, you will have Right Way in Canada, our hot words. And if you click on Sharing Young Living the Right Way, it will give you the document that you need to share it the right way. So right now you can just scroll through it and you can look at things to avoid. And what we can say implied why it's unacceptable, why it is acceptable. So I just think that, we want to know that our resources are right here in member resources. And definitely, I think that it's interesting that we do have these things available, but for whatever reason, we forget about them. And we need to just constantly be reminded that there's a back office in there and we do have that. So I downloaded it, I have it on my desk, and Lindsay Elmore said something and I just went, of course, why not? She said, look at it every day, just a little bit every day, and you'll get it. In 2 weeks' time, you will be just as knowledgeable and compliant as Lindsay Elmore. And I think, yeah, isn't that how it goes? Is that we go, oh no, what can we say? I don't know what to say, but we really haven't taken the reins to educate ourselves with the things that they've given us. So if you're having trouble with compliancy, I urge you to download this, print it off, read it over, and skim through it every day, because that will help. Also keep in mind that just coming down the pipes, I'm not going to promise anything, but there is some talk about Young Living maybe pursuing getting off of the labeling of cosmetic and more into the natural supplementation world. So honestly, do what you need to do, but where I stand, I think that 95% of the problem comes from social media. And as long as we're sharing confidently and as compliant as possible, we'll be fine. We'll be just fine. So do some of those things just to better yourself and have that lingo. And I think it'll be great. So the other thing too that Lindsay Elmore said is in our script, we've often used the term volatile, and she defined that word for us. And she said volatile actually means that the scent rises quickly in the air. That's what volatile means. And I've never looked it up, but I put it in my notes and I thought that that was something interesting just to share with you, and nothing that really has to be shared elsewhere. But the other thing that I thought was a good point is she said, start talking more about how you use the oils. Instead of what they can do, how you use them. So if you have Panaway, it's like, well, what do you use this for? Say, I like to apply it on my legs after I exercise. So you don't have to say it soothes muscles. You can just say, that's what I do. And guess what? They'll get it. They'll know what you're talking about. Or, I on a hot day, I like to apply it on the back of my neck and I find it really soothing. So, you're keeping those claims compliant and you're also educating them on how to use it. So I thought that's a good point to keep in mind, is just talking about how we use it. And of course, always getting into Young Living's infused products. We are not just oils. And we had this big conversation last night that it's tricky because when we want to sign people up with essential rewards and they say, well, how am I possibly going to buy that many oils? That's why we really need to come from a position of it's a whole lifestyle. It's a whole product. So always keep that in the forefront of your brain and getting it towards other people that this is a chemical-free lifestyle. It doesn't start and stop with oils. Now, of course, Terry Seacrest is a Royal Crown Diamond, and she's been with Young Living for 19 years. And she's not really my cup of tea, to be honest, but some of the things she said was, is she your cup of tea, Courtney? I don't know. She's a fascinating sort, and she's been around for a long time. She talked a lot about just some of the things like there's never a wrong time to start the business, and she did more of the training aspect of it, motivational. The one quote that I really loved from her is, where is it now? She said something along the lines of, don't get in your own way. And how often that is, that's our problem. So she said, successful entrepreneurs are vigilant about their thoughts. Each of us is responsible for our own thoughts. The number one reason people are not successful is because of what they think of themselves. And it's followed with, don't let yourself get in your own way. And I thought, how true is that, right? I think that's a good reminder for all of us, really. So she just talked about the power of leveraging, of course, that we want to dig deep. We want to talk to everybody. We want to be talking to people all the time, having passion, a hunger for knowledge, professional development, building relationships. She follows the method of ask, listen, respond. So we're really doing that general interest of people and just wanting to really know about people in general, and that's what's going to win in the end. Having a clear vision, knowing our why, that kind of thing. And also, as business builders, we want to work with the willing. So giving them the tools and empowering them, but it's like a dance. It's like a chess game is the one she used, is that they make a move, you make a move. If you say to somebody, if they say, what can I do? You say, read the 4-Year Career. But you're not going to hound them. Did you read it yet? Did you read it yet? Did you read it that? It's on them. So it's just taking that step as it goes, and guaranteed you will find those people that come out and say, yeah, just I'm hungry. So let's rock this. Now I'm going to get into the nitty gritty. I really made it my mission to connect with as many other leaders as possible, because it is really, I have really been enlightened lately about what a lack of training, frankly, that Young Living has for our builders. And a switch flipped, and I am like on fire now about getting this done and making this duplicable. And here's the plan. I met with a leader from Montreal, and she signed up last June, and she has Diamond OGV, is waiting for her 5th leg. And I'm going, tell me everything. I met a lady from Toronto, very similar story, Wisconsin, Texas, and I want to know, what are you doing? Honestly, I can tell you it's not pretty, and it is extreme and intense sacrifice. They have their children in daycare from 8 till 5, Monday to Friday. It is their job, and that's not okay with me. I mean, it's whatever you want it to look like, but Jamie and Chelsea and Adam, we've really made it about how we're moms, first and foremost, we're wives, we're human, and this is something, and I think Sindra would agree from being in network marketing, in other network market, that this is supposed to fit into your life, not become your life. And so that's really where our team is at, and that's where mine is at. And I thought to myself, you know what? I would rather be Diamond 2 years later and remember my kid in her 5th year of life than have to be Diamond now. And so I just want you to know, I guess I'm saying this to you because I want you to be encouraged that we're still growing insanely fast. And if you're only at Silver now, or only at Executive, or wherever you are still insanely fast compared to a lot of people in this industry. So if you're prepared to sacrifice your family to that extreme, sure, you'll see Diamond real quick, for sure. The other thing they're doing that intrigued me is the amount of people they're talking to, plain and simple. They lead with the business. They're not ashamed and they're not concerned about saying, this is an amazing product, this is going to change your family's life, and better yet, there's an amazing business opportunity if you choose to take it. So it's not about saying, do you want to do the business? It's not that, but it is saying, FYI, if it comes to that point that you want to see what I'm doing, you can just as much as I can. So although they're like, you know what I mean? It's like they're leading with the business in a way that they're just offering it to, is I guess what I'm saying. We don't even offer it. And sometimes if we do, we're kind of abrasive, like, do you want to build the business? No? Okay. And then, it's not working. So don't do that. But so one thing that I thought everybody needs to know is a lot of these organizations who are growing at about the same pace as us are doing similar things, but that is one thing that they're doing differently, is they mention it up front. They say right away that if you want to do what I'm doing, just so you know, you don't have to, but it's here. And it is a great opportunity because their conviction is there. They believe in this business model already. And I encourage you to find that oomph and find that conviction yourself to say, no, this is an amazing business model. And it was brought to my attention by Kirsten Van Haver when her and I were out for a business meeting last night. She said, we are sitting in like a prime position that we have Carla Green, who could retire. She could have retired 5 years ago. Followed by Adam Green, who has retired. Followed by Sherry Gradecki, who has retired. Followed by Chelsea Flaman and Jamie Flaman, who have both retired. And now our date, I hate to say it out loud, is April 1st. We thought April Fool's Day would be the perfect day for Kevin to quit his job. So we're gonna gun for that. And I mean, how cool is it for you to say, and they did it, 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 and now I'm doing it. It just makes it so real. Like, we are in an amazing team, right? And we've got it. So why wouldn't we want to say to people, it's amazing. Here. That's all I'm doing. If you've read your Rock Your Network Marketing Business by Sarah Robbins, that's her point. Just offer it. I like that quote that I put up. I think it was by Jim Rohn about how we should take a lesson from our kids because no doesn't mean anything to them. It's like, isn't that the truth? But the least I can do is offer it because maybe in 6 months' time they can say, you did say that. It's already in their mind. Okay, moving on. The other thing was about the prospect list. I think we've been a little too passive with our prospect list. Our prospect list has been very much, go ahead and fill out your sheet and, put 100 people on it or 200 people on it. Now, you'll feel so nice that you know so many people. And that's kind of where it stopped. No, not effective, not happening. I'm going to be doing something different. I have a prospect list I haven't looked at in 6 months, admittedly, and it's hanging up right here beside my desk. And it's time to dust that sucker off and actually start reaching out to people. Because as Sindra pointed out to me, and it's so very true with some of the people I talk to at Gold Retreat, that it doesn't matter how long you've been in this business, it matters how many people you're talking to. And it's intense, very intense, but I get the concept. If you were at the Essential Oil Summit, Richard Brooke spoke about doing a 90-day blitz. And that 90-day blitz was you reaching out to at least one person every day. So you're going to reach out to one person every day for 90 days. And it can be about the product or the business opportunity. Doesn't matter which, but you're talking to somebody every day. Well, I have a prospect list already written. Why on earth am I not utilizing that sucker? So I talked to this lady who went to Diamond OGV in a year, Stephanie, and she said that her upline, they were at Summit, they flew in from Texas, her upline, and she flew in from Montreal for a Summit, so they were there, and they went back and they started a Facebook group with their team, and the rules were that you were to talk to one person every day for 90 days, and you were to have 2 scheduled appointments every week, whether it's a one-on-one, a home session, a workshop, whatever. You had 2, a Zoom call, whatever. You had 2 scheduled each week. You have to submit that on Sunday, every Sunday, with the names listed and the appointments fulfilled, And if you don't fulfill that, you're booted from the group. I was like, oh my gosh, that would up my game pretty fast. So, but I think like our team runs a little different. We're not that intense, and my kids are home generally. But it really clued me into, we need to start talking to more people. That it's like, what could our business look like if we were actively pursuing that? So definitely start looking at your prospect list a little differently. And I'm trying to dig into resources. And if you want to text, or if you want to private message through Facebook, it is the way of the world. It's how we're communicating. My phone is full of, cell phone numbers of other people. I'm going to start posting on the McLeod Momentum group more shareable videos that we can send people just to take a look at, to kind of introduce them to like what it is I'm doing and Young Living. So pick and choose there, but keep your prospect list on the forefront of your brain. And I'm hoping to do a few training calls based around the prospect list and how you can really make it work for you. So that's what other people are doing. Some verbiage that I liked was a lady that I caught up with from Wisconsin. Her and her builder were there, and fabulous, fabulous ladies. Again, they each have 4 kids. So they're doing this, about the same pace as us, and they're Adam groupies. So that worked out well because that was their whole goal, was to connect from somebody from the green team. And they were just delightful people. But she said what they do is very casually at the end of their session, every single session, this is what they do. They say, oh, that was so much fun. Thank you guys for coming. This was amazing. So I'm wondering who's going to host the next one. And they just leave it out there. And I thought, yeah, I mean, they're excited. Why aren't we saying who's going to host the next one? And then she said what they found that really works is they say, if you want to host something just like this and invite some friends over, we'll come do a class or a session or event or whatever you want to call it. And you'll get a free Zyto scan for hosting. Now, compliance and Zyto scans, I don't know, and you can take or leave whatever you like. But then she said what they do is they pass a clipboard around and they say, just fill out your name and your email address, and I'll be in touch with you if you're interested in doing this too. She said they've had amazing response with that. And I thought, simple, duplicable, like, yeah, no big deal, right? People are excited on the spot so that you can get it. Now, as far as follow-up goes, as we talked about, you're going to have to be a little bit on your A game with that. And if you do get people writing down their names and phone numbers, don't wait 2 weeks to call them. Wait 2 days, not 2 weeks, because they're excited, they're pumped, and they want to make that happen. So I thought that was good verbiage to say, okay, who's going to host the next one? I'll just pass the sheet around, put your name and email address down, and we'll get that done. Assuming they want it. Just assume that they want to do that. The other thing that I thought was interesting is the do-it-yourself aspect of it. People are finding that if they do the do-it-yourself aspect, it's a little bit more compliant because it's more how I'm using them in my life, not the what for, because those effects they'll find. But this lady in Montreal, what she's been doing is she calls them a workshop. So it's not an information session. It's not an event. It's a workshop. And she says she does it around her kitchen table, or she doesn't do a lot of sessions from her own home. She'll go to other people's homes and do it. And they have 4 to 6 people that come. They do it around the table. They pass them around. She does the KISSed presentation, more or less. Very simple. And then every single person that comes gets a bath salt, and they get a foaming hand soap. So she said it is a little bit of an investment, and it is a little bit of prep. But the point is, it's really easy. Costco, you get this big thing of Epsom salts, and you just scoop it and go, I like to use lavender in the bath. Drop, 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 shake, shake, shake. Does everybody want one? And it's just that easy. So then they get to leave with a little something. And she said it has been extremely successful for getting more people to come back because it is so non-threatening. And everybody gets to take something home to actually try. So I thought that's kind of a neat way to lean toward. It is a bit more prep, granted. So, take what you like from it. But I also know, Courtney, what is that website from BC that you order your make and take stuff from? I can't remember what it's called. Is it Voyager? Okay.
Yeah, Voyager.
Okay, so everybody knows. Okay, so that's the website. She says she just goes on there. She gets them for less than $1 a piece, but she's noticed a lot of growth. So I guess there's no denying that. I'm not a super make and taker, but I would definitely be willing to try it a couple of times to see what the response is. You know, everything's worth a try. So, and I did find out on this trip that I'm a little bit more blue than I thought I was. So, you know, a good time's not such a bad thing. Okay, so, you know, much like what we do or some of the ideas that we've had, they run a general monthly meeting. A lot of them do it Zoom because they go to meetings.com or whatever. They have their own platform, and they do it once a month. And it's like a green team meeting this way, where it's like we're just educating and we're just talking. And they have a lot of international people. Like a lot of Americans do have Canadian customers and members, so they do it this way just for the ease. But same things as us. They get together as much as they can. Product information, product knowledge. And then the one thing was, I thought for a Now What session, she told me that what she did was a speed oiling in their house. So she got like 2 of her leaders together and they did 4 or 5 stations. And it was it was like a follow-up session. So they had about 15 people come to the house and they had different stations. And one station, one of the leaders was talking about essential rewards and why you should be on it, the 10%, 15%, 20%. 5-minute timer went, they switched. The next 4 women went to the kitchen and they got to hear about do-it-yourself products and how you can just make this jewelry cleaner and you can do this, and this is what I like to use this in and clean my vegetables. 5-minute timer went off, they moved to the living room. And then they talked about dilution and vegetable capsules and taking them internally and Vitaflex points. And she said it was over in like 40 minutes. They did diffusers too. And she said everybody was like totally charged up. So I thought that's kind of a neat idea to do a follow-up session if, you know, and you could even do that with somebody who doesn't have a premium starter kit yet. They could come and just kind of like get a good dose of things. So I thought that was a good idea. And then the next thing and the last thing that's really kind of coming together are actual training videos. So one thing that was brought to my attention by some of these leaders is that they're running actual training like this. So Nicole has somebody who says, yeah, I think I'm interested in the business. What do you actually plug them into? So the system that we're looking at making is what I'd like to see happen more often are 3-way calls. 3-way calls, if you've read Brian Carruthers, Building an Empire, and after you do some digging with some other MLMs, it's standard. It's not uncommon and it's not weird. And I've done a few with Yvonne's team and I've done a few with JC's team, and they've worked great and they're starting to duplicate now. And the effectiveness of them is that it isn't just you saying how great this is. You're being edified by somebody who this is happening to and who's kind of been down that road and is just one remove. So what I'm really encouraging and going toward, that if somebody has a builder who's kind of like, oh, I need to hear more, then we set up a 3-way call right away. And then this is also going to be followed by, oh, the one thing I really realized is our purple brochure really desperately needs to be revamped. But nobody else has this. It is valuable. And it is as much of a system as we've had. So what I intend to do, me and Kirsten Van Haver, she's a gold under Chelsea, on Chelsea's front line, and we're teaming up. And we're going to start training classes. And it's going to, right now, how we're looking at it is it's going to be running in 6 weeks. So it's going to be every Monday. And we're going to be running it off of Periscope. And if you're not on Periscope yet, I urge you to check it out. It's a very amazing tool to be using. How it works is that we will go on, it's uncut, it's unfiltered, it is just like this as we are, but we're going to be giving actual training. It's going to be broken up into topics. So week 1 is going to be, where's my notes even? It's going to be in the beginning. So this is when we're going to talk about you needing to read the 4-year career. We're going to be talking about getting your prospect list, ordering your business cards, where we get ours from, what ours look like, and talking about your why and what would your life look like if you made an extra $2,000 a month. and get those juices flowing. And then the week after, we're going to be talking about home events, workshops, sessions, whatever you want to talk about, but how are you going to actively share with people, and what are you going to be doing with that prospect list? And then the third one, we're going to be talking about essential rewards, being the backbone of your business. And really, you know, auto ship is a great thing and it's a brilliant idea, but only if it's being utilized, because that's your true residual income. So what our plan is to have 6 well thought out, drawn up classes that you can be plugging these new builders into. The other thing that's exciting for me, if you've got a bit of extra time, my list is forever growing and I'm finding it really hard to keep up. But Vimeo, if you go www.vimeo.com/youngliving, have a gander through some of those videos, because corporate has very sneakily created some really great videos and put them up, and we didn't know they existed. So I already talked to Jamie Flaman, and I asked him, how difficult is it going to be to organize these on www.oilcultureoffice.com so that we actually have our website at oilcultureoffice.com, and we can tell that builder, great, you've had your 3-way with Jeanette, you're doing these training calls, have you gone onto the website and have you watched these videos of corporate explaining how the comp plan works, and explaining how the Rising Star bonus is beneficial for you, and explaining how to navigate. Even like I said to him, there's some really great videos in there for just members, that it's like how to navigate your VO and how.
Okay, they can't hear me.
What?
Oh, they can hear me. Oops.
Yeah, we can hear you. There's some really great videos about navigating your VO, how to redeem your essential rewards. And it's like, when I've had that question come up, when it's like, well, I don't know what to do, that would have been the perfect link to send. So I'm talking to Jamie about setting this up in an organized fashion on the Oil Culture Office website so that we actually have that database. Because right now, they are just not existing in a reasonable form. And like ultimately Jamie said, what they should be is in our member resources in that area. We should have that all down, but we don't. So we're just going to have to be resourceful ourselves and do that. So that's kind of my plan. The first Periscope is going to launch this Monday. So if you have new builders that you want to plug into it, then I suggest promoting and really getting the word out. Periscope is really great. It's real time, and that video will be available for 24 hours. So if you work shift work or somebody just can't get on it at the time that we're running it, that's no problem. They will have 24 hours before it's taken off. That's not to say that it will be gone forever. We will save them and download them, and I'm thinking that we'll be creating a video or a YouTube page where we will actually be able to have a database of these videos so that we can continually run them. And then my plan is really that Jamie will be able to upload these videos so that we can direct our people to saying, here are the training videos. Can you watch 1 and 2 and let me know when you're done? Great, did you watch corporate? You know, you get my drift. I don't have to go through it all. But this is what I'm really starting to think about, because we need a good duplicable system that we can just fire on down the line, because this group is growing so fast and it's getting so big. And I worry about people being 8 and 10 levels down that aren't duplicating the same way we're meaning for it to happen. And as far as Periscope goes, I've noticed it can be a real time killer. So be selective in who you're following and the videos that you want to get in on, because really, I'm using it as a business tool. I don't want to be listening for an hour to somebody who isn't giving me something that is valuable. And Alana is a close friend of Adam and Vanessa. And Carrie, can you mute your, what's it called, microphone? So she's a close friend of her and her husband both. It changed their life. They're diamonds, and probably going crown diamond soon. He had a really crappy job. She got him home. Great story. Really amazing people. I encourage you to follow them on Periscope right away, because they've got some awesome things. And she's also on YouTube too. And her last name is Bookout, Bookhout. Alana is her first name, and her husband's name is Dustin. So, so the training classes are really big. The speed oiling, the workshops, leading with the business, utilizing your prospect list. That's kind of what I learned from Gold Retreat. And then, of course, if you're willing to sacrifice a lot of your life, then hey, fill your boots. but that's not really where I'm headed, and I think that I think you guys can relate to where we're coming from. This is something we can make work and be great and successful at it 6 months longer, so we can be with our kids. Like, you know what I mean? So, so that's kind of it. And just a side note that I was meaning to share with you about the Melissa oil. I don't know who all has a Melissa oil, because it's like one you'd never probably buy yourself, but it's really lemony. It smells a lot like lemon. So if you've wondered what it is, then it's kind of lemony, and it comes from the mint family. So the leaves look very much like a mint leaf, if anybody was curious. So I'm kind of going to wrap it up there. If you have any questions, unmute yourself now and fire them at me. Or if you want to have a bit of a discussion, I don't mind. If you have any questions about what a workshop would look like or whatever, then just unmute, or otherwise feel free to unzoom yourself and have a wonderful day.
Do you know the topic for Monday, Jeanette?
The topic for Monday is going to be the beginning. We're running the first training class. So it's going to be about getting your prospect list down, reading the 4-year career. And I would almost I would hope that a lot of you guys would get in on it just so you can get your feet wet and know what it's about. But essentially what we're doing is we're looking at the purple brochure, and we're doing 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's going to be, and these training calls, good question, Yvonne, these training calls will not last longer than 25 minutes. It's meant to be between 15 and 25 minutes of time. We're not going to eat up a lot of your time, but we're going to give you good direction, verbiage, and valuable information on how to launch your business. That's our goal. So we're really aiming for 20 minutes tops every Monday for 6 weeks.
What time, Jeanette?
I haven't nailed it down with Kirsten, but we're going to shoot for 1 Mountain Standard Time.
Okay.
Jeanette, that was incredible. Thank you. Your energy is so infectious, so I love it. So thanks for sharing your time with us and all your feedback.
Glad you found some value in it. I was a little bit worried. I'm like, oh, I was so energized by this. Everybody's going to be like, what's the big deal? Yeah, no.
No, it's awesome.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Indra.
I can't wait to plug in on Monday a bunch of people who are excited to start their businesses and kind of don't know where to go. So this is going to be great.
Yeah, I think that this is going to fill a bit of a need, actually, because it's just hearing it from somebody else. It's real time. It's like, if you want to be successful, this is what you've got to do. And this is where we've all started. Right. And it's just, I think it's going to be good.
Hey, Jeanette, Juanita asked a little bit on a type. She said, how does she view the videos from past? Like, I've had the same problem on the Periscope. I can't view them.
All right. So I don't know if this is going to work very well, but here's my Periscope app. So I get into Periscope, and you can create your own account, or I had a Twitter account already, so I just linked my Twitter account and got in, no problem. So then what it says here, you can read it, is no one is live right now.
Yeah.
So there's no live video. So like Adam isn't right now at this specific time doing a video, or Jordan Adler or whoever. But then below it, it says 19 recent. So then I can just scroll through here to see, you've only got 24 hours to view them, but those ones I still have available. So for example, the question and answer with Dustin and Alana last night, it's 17 hours old. So now I've only got 7 more hours where I can access it, and it'll still be there. And then in 24 hours, when the 24 hours is up, it'll just delete and be gone.
So what about this Alana Bookhout that you were saying? I went and I liked her yesterday right away.
Yeah.
And I wanted to watch the video, but I could not find it. So is it something that you have to like the person before the video was recorded in order to actually access it?
No, I don't think so.
That's
But you should be able, and you know, the Dempseys, if you go on and follow the Dempseys right now, they've got one there's only 5 hours left to it, but it's really great top tips to connect on Periscope. So it'll tell you all how Periscope works. So if you and the Dempseys are Royal Crown Diamonds, and they're really good friends with Jamie and Chelsea.
Okay.
They're really endearing people. So hop on there. The Dempseys, Alana Bookout, I'd follow Adam, maybe Richard Brooke, you know, a few of those, and start playing with it. You're going to have to play with it to get used to it.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be worth it, and that's how it's going to run. So, and also then it's open to everybody, so it might be cross teams. I don't know who's.
Did you see what Jeanette? Did you see what Juanita just said though?
No.
She's like 17 hours past the Alana Bookout video, but we can't actually view it. So it's
Can you hear that?
sort of
Like mine's playing.
weird.
Yeah, mine's playing too. I'm not having any problems with it.
What's the first name on Dempsey's?
Like they're hilarious. You guys really got to follow them. They're hilarious people. The Dempseys are Jake, who runs Oily Tools,
Oh, okay.
and Christy Dempsey.
Okay.
Yeah, they're the Oily Tools family.
How do you spell their last name?
Dempsey.
Okay.
So.
Juanita picked.
Yeah, I think it might be a bug, Juanita. I'm not too sure, but you should be able to access it. So keep playing with it. That's all I can say.
Okay, I'm gonna head out. Thanks, Jeanette.
Hey, Nicole. See you later.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was in and out.
No worries.
No one's swimming in the pool right now. But what is the time we're doing Monday? Did you say a time?
I'm thinking it's 1, but that's not set in stone. I still need to talk to Kirsten about what time works for her. But we're hoping for nap time.
Okay. Because I've got a few people who don't know they're builders yet, but, you know, like I just really think that they would benefit from being on that call. So should I just tell them, hey, you know, I really just think you should take a look and be a part of this call? Like, would it be a good one for them to come on, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's business training, so it would be great if they were already on board. However, they might just want to, you know, be a part of the first one to get their feet wet and see, you know, what they think of the whole process and what it can look like.
Okay.
I'm hoping, like, Kirsten and I will try to remember to start each one with, you know, who we are and where we've come from and where we are now, so that it can at least hopefully inspire a few people who are quite new.
Yeah.
So it might be worth a try.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I'm hoping, because that's what sparked my interest, was hearing it from somebody else and hearing that from Adam, right? So if that can spark their interest, and if I'm having a hard time getting them to attend events, this might be a great way to get them out. Okay, then come take it off. Sorry, the 2-year-old's around nap time. Okay, that's exciting then.
Yeah.
Well, you'll just post in Momentum then when it's gonna be.
Absolutely. As soon as I've got it hashed out, when I get off this call, I'll be in touch with Kirsten. We'll hash out the specs. I'm gonna get my notes down on type, and we'll launch on Monday.
Okay.
And that is the nice thing about Periscope. If they can't make it for noon your time, then they can catch it at 5 or before bed or whatever on Periscope still. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Exciting. I think there's definitely a need for that, and hopefully it gets a good response and
Yeah, I hope so.
a good turnout.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm out.